Famous Cuban graffiti artist and activist Danilo Maldonado has just been released after serving 10 months in jail. But why was he arrested? Now, he was trying his latest art installment in Havana's Central Park. Now, what he wanted to do, Jose, was go to the park and release 2 pigs with the names Fidel and Raul on them, obviously referring to the revolution's highest leaders, right? Apparently, you do that and you're going to jail, right? He spent 10 months without any charges. Now, human rights groups really made this case very public, and I have a feeling that's why he only got out after 10 months, because criticizing any politicians will land you 1 to 3 years in jail. So 10 months, he can consider himself pretty lucky. But thanks to these international rights groups, one of them called his case a vivid demonstration of how Cuba's harsh limits on free expression remain in full force, and that is so true despite all the economic opening up, right, of Cuba. Everyone's talking about how we're seeing all this reform in Cuba. Thank you, Pope. Thank you, Cuban people. Thank you, Obama. Best friends all of a sudden. It's true. We're seeing a lot of change, but at the same time, dude, you paint a pig and you're going to jail. What do you think?
I think that it's a very good example of how the Cuban government still has a long way to go before addressing the deep lack of respect for free speech and for human rights in the island. El Sexto, this is the way he's known in Cuba. He's always been a protester of sorts as an artist. He won awards for it not too long ago. But also we need to see the fact that it's clear. When we went back there and opened the embassy and the Secretary of State, John Kerry, went and had a ceremony, no one from the dissenting side of the political family showed up. They were not invited to the official ceremony. The government, the US government, had to put together a different event to listen to them and to listen to their perspective. So it's clear that there is a complete disconnect in between those who criticize the government in Cuba and how much Cuba is willing to take the criticism. And I think for a real democracy to sustain and to be real, there has to be free speech. There needs to be a government that is willing and able to take criticism and to take the satire of the public that is making their point of how they see the political present in their country.
Right, and that prize that you're talking about, back in April, Maldonado received the Václav Havel International Prize for Creative Dissent from the New York-based Human Rights Group Foundation, from a Human Rights Group's foundation. Now, I think that's really cool, and I'm glad they did that, and that's a very symbolic move on their part. And I think you're right about everything that you said regarding free speech in Cuba. And while I'm sitting here talking about how, hold on, they haven't changed that much, they have, though. Because if they didn't open up, and if all eyes weren't on Cuba, I'm pretty sure this guy would have been in jail serving his 1 to 3 year sentence for criticizing any politician.
We do have to keep in mind that this is something that has been going on for decades. So it's not like the government in Cuba can just flip a switch and suddenly everything is open and everything is nice and everybody forgets all of the silencing and all of the abuse against those who raise their voice and say we don't like this, and because there's a lot of inequality in Cuba. There's still a lot of social work to be done, although they have things that will be marvel at them, like their health system, but at the same time they can't do this. And they have an intranet. They don't have an internet like us. They have an intranet that the government controls, and you have to go to a specific place where they have everything in hard drives. They make you believe that you're online, but you're actually going into a local server. So the perception of what's going on in the country is still very much directed by the government, and the more we report on these stories of people that are willing to get arrested to make a point of how there's a group of people in Cuba that dissent, I think it's important. I think the public needs to know.
Right, and I think those are all very good points. Now, I'm going to leave you guys with a little quote from his mom. She says, "A government that doesn't let itself be criticized starts to lose its credibility." Let us know what you guys think in the comments below about this guy going to jail for 10 months for painting a damn pig. Let us know in the comments, and if you haven't already, subscribe to the Lip TV for more.